Okay, so excuse me. This is going to be a brief tutorial on how to install YouCompleteMe, which is a code completion engine for Vim. And so, for instance, just as an example of what it does, if I were wanting to instantiate a new variable with a linspace, so I've already imported NumPy, it'll give you the name of like the target function or what it thinks it could be, and then it'll tell you what are the arguments to that function. And so I'm primarily interested in using it for Python and to make Vim into my more IDE type environment. So first, as a disclaimer, you should definitely, I'm making this tutorial on the 16th of March 2021, but you should check their documentation on their GitHub to see, before you go through this, to make sure they haven't changed these requirements for the compiler and for the Vim version. So the first thing we want to do is to see what version of Vim you have. And so you can do that by typing vim -- version. And so I'm just want to see the top of it. So you can see I'm using version 8.1 right here, and they want you to have 8.1.2269 or higher. So we'll need to install a new version of Vim. So we'll do that with the package manager brew. And you'll need it for installing other components of YouCompleteMe. So you'll need brew one way or another. And so if you have it, when you type which brew, it'll tell you the path to it in your terminal. But if you don't, you can go to brew.sh and copy this command into your terminal and execute it, and it will install brew for you. Okay, so once you have brew installed for sure, you can look for the new version of Vim. And so it should be on here. And then you can install it with a simple command, brew install macvim. So now we have a new version of Vim that's installed at this path. And so when I type which Vim, it's aliased to the old path. So I want to, I'm going to go to that directory real quick. So this is the Vim that we want. And so I want to add that to my ZSHRC just so that for now it'll be a constant alias. So I can do so that's what I want to come up when I type VI now. So that will be the alias, and you can just append that to your ZSHRC or whatever bash RC that you're using. So then change the source back to here, and then now it's alias to the Vim that we want. And now we're looking at version 8.2. So now we should be able to get YouCompleteMe to work. So first, before we go any further, you should check to make sure that you have the minimum compiler requirements. So I'm going to just do, I have Clang, so I'm just going to do which version, Clang -- version. And so I have version 12, so I'm much higher than their minimum compiler requirements, but similarly, if you're using GCC, you can do GCC -- version. And so now we'll go down to the instructions for Mac. And so I think these are for support for different languages, but I'll just go through the whole thing. But before you install them, you can see if you already have these things installed. So you can see that I already have CMake installed and Python, Go, and Node. So I can just do mono. And while this is going, you can go ahead and do the install YCM plugin on Vundle. So you can go to your vimrc and we'll add a new spot for it. It's YCM. And then you can just do the regular procedure for installing plugins with oh, I forgot I need to update the source on this this terminal. I had two windows open, but this one is still using the old version of Vim, so that's going to be a problem. So I can just do now. Should be able to go. Ready to go. So now when you quit, you should have a new directory in your you have this directory now, and so this is where you'll compile YouCompleteMe. And so now this is done. So now the last thing we have to do is to just execute the compilation. So now we can, the last thing we need to do is to run this installation script. So we can do okay, so we're missing one script. So we can run this git submodule command. This may take a minute, so now we should be ready to run the installation script. And so finally we'll do the Clang D completer for semantic support for C languages. So now it should be ready to go. So we can go look at our script now, and oops. So now you can see it's suggesting numpy np dot linspace Okay, so if you noticed beforehand, when I was doing this, I wanted it to show me the function signatures and do the autocomplete with all the methods and members. So like, for instance, if I were doing np, you see it'll show me np numpy, but it won't show me, whenever I complete to here, it won't show me, for instance, all of the members and methods. So what you need to do to enable that, and again, I think you have to have the most updated version of Vim to do this. You can add this configuration into your vimrc, and so in here you'll specify the interpreter path that you can use globally. And so I'll just add this. So I've got now, okay, what I want to do is specify this path, and you'll see I'm getting the automatic completion in my vimrc. And for this, so this will be the configuration file path. And so this is putting it in my home directory, and I'm just going to add a period here to make this a hidden file. And so I'm not changing any of these other things. So now what we need to do is define the function that goes in this file. So we can now, so that's global extra conf.py, and then we can just copy and paste this into it. And so now this should be good to go. So we'll quit here. And so when you start it up, you need to do YouCompleteMe restart server. That'll restart this. I'll make sure everything is. So I'm gonna just quit and start this again to make sure that it had started it again. So np dot. Now you see it has all of the methods and members. So if you want, and then it also has the arguments, which is the signature and this automatic preview. And you can go through here and configure it to not show that preview. But again, I just put it on here so that you can see like what this basic version does. So this is the behavior I was wanting, like linspace, start, stop, num, like, so all of the arguments, or that's the function signature. Okay, so the last thing, as I mentioned, you can use this, you can add this to your vimrc to suppress that that window, or sorry, this one right here, this auto close preview. That will make that little window automatically close. I'll just copy this. I think that's it, and then yeah, so now once I had completed it, it automatically closed that little window up there. So this is the way I want this to work. And so here I have essentially my my setup that I want, where I've got my script up here and an IPython terminal down here. And so this is, this is just a regular split window, but I just have it turned to IPy. And so I have Vim bindings, and I have my IPython set for Vim bindings, my terminal set for Vim bindings, and then obviously my editor is Vim. So this is the complete Python Vim workflow that I've been trying to get together. And so like what that behavior that I'm talking about, like, so for instance, I have this C beta function here, and it'll automatically be able to find it and tell me what are the arguments, and keywords, especially, obviously not just the positional, but the keyword arguments. And then you can just execute. I didn't save it yet, but that's fine because it'll just execute that. And so that's about it.